What is going on, guys? Welcome to GregglesTV Daily. Rewind is where we go back a week and give you your tech news, all from 7 days of news in one single video. And we're starting to get some good stuff on the Galaxy Note 10 phone. We're finally getting news. It's trickling in, and it's eventually going to be a landslide for sure. So we got Note 10 news. We have information on the Galaxy S10 5G and some issues that it is having, and so much more, guys. So enjoy this week's episode. Leave some comments down below and get the conversation started. My Boston accent just came out. We'll see you in the next one.
Let's get into the news. We've got one story today, and it is about the Samsung Galaxy Note 10. This phone should be out in August of 2019. That's only 4 more months from right now. And this report of rumors is coming straight from South Korea. It looks like there's going to end up being 4 different Galaxy Note 10 models. Now, previously, last week, we talked about 2 different models, a smaller version with a smaller screen, and then one with a bigger screen as well, and that would be the 2 models. In that story, I also mentioned what I thought would happen, and it looks like that's exactly what is going to happen, and that is 4 different models. So here we go. So there's going to be 2 models with 4G LTE and 2 models with 5G, and the big difference between them is screen size. So the screen size on the smaller version of the Galaxy Note 10 will be 6.28 inches, and on the back you're going to get 3 cameras. On the larger version of the Galaxy Note 10, it's going to be 6.75 inches and have 4 cameras on the back. Other than that, the report doesn't mention any differences in battery sizes or really anything else at that point. So if you're thinking about getting this phone, you really probably have 2 options at that time, is to get either a 6.28 version or the 6.75 inch version. And I think if you're gonna get the Galaxy Note 10, especially if you're gonna be using that S Pen, you're probably gonna want a bigger palette. So why wouldn't you get the bigger screen on there so that you can use the S Pen a little bit more easily? It makes total sense to get the bigger one, unless budget is a big thing in your mind. You might want to get the cheaper version. I can see the cheaper version at least being $100 less, maybe $200 less, just because the screen's smaller. You're getting one less camera on the back there. And the camera itself is probably going to be give you better live focus photos. It's probably not going to be that big a deal in terms of overall photography with the camera, so I wouldn't worry too much about that, even though 4 versus 3 cameras. But again, if you want the ultimate camera, you're going to want the one with the 4, but it shouldn't make that big a difference, at least what I would expect. Let's get into the news. The first story of the day is coming out of Singapore, and they've got something kind of cool and quirky. They have these power wireless sharing billboards. Basically, if you don't know what power wireless sharing is it allows you, let me grab my phone, allows you to charge another device on the back of your Galaxy S10 device wirelessly, have them be headphones or another phone or anything else that can charge wirelessly. Now, it does it very, very slow, so it's kind of like, in a pinch you might want to do it, or maybe overnight you might want to charge something up like that. But regardless, what this does is you put your phone up to the billboard, and again, it will wirelessly charge your phone, and it's to promote power wireless sharing on the Galaxy phone. Now, you can also do this on Huawei phones as well, so this isn't something completely new and extravagant for Samsung phones. But regardless, it is a Samsung billboard. It is in Singapore, so if you're in Singapore, send us a picture of it. Even though I've already showed you a picture of what it looks like, send us a picture of it and I'll post it on my next video. Or if you even do it, show me a video of it. That would be even cooler, guys. So regardless, if you're in Singapore, try this out. It seems kind of cool, and why not? It'd be a good little photo op. And the last story of the day, kind of a slow news day today, is about the Galaxy S10 5G. We talked about it a ton last week. We even got a somewhat, not official, but somewhat official release date for this phone of being May 16th from Mr. Evan Blass, EV Leaks on Twitter. And anyways, this is an official render for the Galaxy S10 5G, and you can see right on there it says 12:45 Thursday, May 16th, which coincides with what we've been hearing for the last week of the release date for this phone is May 16th. So it's just a little bit more confirmation on this phone that it'll be out May 16th, which is kind of, it sucks because I really expected this phone to be out in April, but it's being pushed back into, it looks like May anyway for here in America. It's already out in South Korea. Should be coming out very soon in Europe as well. And then in America, again, May 16th, and then pre-orders in the middle of April. Let's get into the news. The first story of the day is AT&T has launched 5G in 7 more cities. And those cities are Austin, Los Angeles, Nashville, Orlando, San Diego, San Francisco, and San Jose. Now this 5G is launched on what they call a millimeter wave, which does not travel far. So basically, wherever you have 5G in one of those cities, which it will not be blanketed all over the city, it'll kind of only be right there. And if you move, I don't know, let's say 50, 100 yards, 0.2 miles, something like that, you'll eventually lose that 5G signal. It's not like LTE where it'll travel everywhere. They won't have the real quote-unquote 5G that's just blanketing cities and travels better than what we have right now until 2020. And this is the way Verizon's is as well. So the 5G that you're kind of going to be getting in 2019 is very short-ranged, not going to go very far, and I wouldn't call it fake 5G, but again, it's just, almost think of it as like Wi-Fi at your home. It's in a designated area, and once you leave that small designated area, it goes away. And the last story of the day is about the newest Samsung phone. Now, it is a mid-tier phone, so it's probably not going to be a phone a lot of people will buy. Also, it's not coming out in America, but it is called the Samsung A80, and it has a sliding, rotating camera. This thing is really cool looking. So basically on the front, you're gonna get all display, no cutout for the camera, no notch, no nothing, just all display. And then on the back, when you want to use the camera, again, the camera has 3 cameras on the back. It'll rotate so that you can use the cameras on the back, or it'll rotate to the front. You can use those as selfie cameras as well. It's a really, really interesting take on a phone to be able to do something like this. I would be down with this for sure if it happened with the Galaxy S10, 11, whatever phones that come out in the future for Samsung. It's a very cool technology, and I think they did a really great job the way it looks thus far. Let's get into the news. The first story of the day is about YouTube TV, which is a kind of like a cable streaming TV app, which allows you to watch, ESPN and History Channel and AMC and all that kind of stuff. And it looks like they're increasing their prices. So they're pushing their prices as of May 13th up to $50 a month. So if you subscribe to that service, you're not going to be grandfathered into a lower price like you have been in the past. Everybody starting on May 13th will start paying $50 per month. They are giving you some extra channels though. Those channels being the Discovery Channel, HGTV, Food Network, TLC, Investigation, Discovery, Animal Planet, Travel Channel, Motor Trend, and Oprah Winfrey Network will be available later this year. Next up, if you're looking to purchase the Samsung Galaxy Tab S5e, it officially goes on sale on April 26th, which is awesome news if you've been looking to get this tablet. It is a mid-tier tablet. It's going to have a slower processor than it does in the Tab S4, and then also it's not going to have S Pen support. So keep that in mind if you're thinking about buying this tablet. But it is ultra thin. It has a good amount of RAM at 6 gigabytes, and it basically has anything else you'd probably want in a tablet if you're looking to consume media. This next story comes from Sam Mobile, and it says the following. It says that Galaxy S10 5G is struggling to work with 5G, some consumers say. And basically what it's talking about is that it has trouble switching from LTE to 5G and back and forth to the point where you have to actually reboot the device. And this does not surprise me one bit. The Moto Z3, which has a 5G add-on for Verizon, has a very similar issue. I was watching a review from CNET on YouTube, and they had, again, the very similar issue where it had trouble connecting and staying on the 5G network. They had to reboot it, take the device off, put it back on, all kinds of annoyances. So if you're thinking about getting this device, it is something to keep in mind that there's going to be some bugs to work out. There's going to be some issues, just like any new technology. So be prepared in case you do want this device. I'm assuming there'll probably be a 5G switch in the settings that you can turn on and off and just always keep it on LTE. I remember back in the day when LTE just came out, you had a switch, you could just keep it on 3G and vice versa. So there you guys go with that, and it's kind of disappointing, but it's also not that surprising. And the last story of the day is about the Samsung Galaxy Fold on T-Mobile. This comes from John Legere, who is the CEO of T-Mobile. He says, who's ready? Unfold the new Samsung Galaxy Fold on America's network. The first ever massive 7.3 Infinity Flex display is definitely the ultimate way to stream Netflix on us. You get free Netflix, that's why he says it. Order the Fold on 4/25 online or grab it in stores on 4/26. So you're looking at about 2 weeks from now, you'll be able to grab the Samsung Galaxy Fold, at least on T-Mobile's network. I would pretty much put money down. It could be wrong, but I'd put money down this is probably going to be the same on all the carriers, at least that I would think at that point, because once one carrier gets it, they usually all get it at the same time. It's usually not that much exclusivity anymore, especially with these really high-end phones like Samsung puts out and Apple puts out. They generally come out all at the same time. So you're probably looking at all the carriers on 4/26 will have this in store. T-Mobile definitely will, because obviously he tweeted that out. It's just a matter of time before the others announce it as well. Let's get into the news. The first story of the day is you can officially reserve your Samsung Galaxy Fold. Now, it's not an actual pre-order per se, but you can reserve it, and then what they'll end up doing is they'll end up sending you a link in a couple of days so that you can officially order it. Now, this is what they want. They want like your name, your email address, and then that reserves you. And you also choose if you're going to use it on T-Mobile or AT&T, and then they give you a number. It looks like that's the number that you're in line. So for instance, I got, you can see right here, number 1075. So you would think I'm guaranteed at that point to get one. I can't imagine that they won't have over 1,075 of these so that I can pre-order it and get it on the same day. But basically the little graphic says the future is about to unfold. Your reservation number for our exclusive invite-only pre-order is 1075. In the next few days, look out for an email from Samsung with your unique invitation link to pre-order your Galaxy Fold before anyone else. Quantities are already limited, so be sure to check your inbox for more information on pre-order access. Next up, an update has gone out for the fingerprint sensor on the Galaxy S10 and S10 Plus. It hasn't gone out everywhere, but it is starting to roll out, and what it does is it improves the speed of the fingerprint sensor to basically make it instantaneous when you unlock it. I know one of my Patreon supporters, Kim, has got this update. I haven't heard back from her if it's been ultra fast or if she's noticed any difference, but I guess some of the Redditors that have gotten this update have said it's instantaneous. It's a lot faster. So it looks like this update will be rolling out and you should get it fairly soon. If you do have it, let us know what your thoughts are so far with that update for the biometric fingerprint sensor on the new S10 and S10 Plus, if it's improved at all. And the last story of the day comes from Ice Universe. We haven't been talking about Ice Universe too much. He's a leaker. He gives out a lot of information on usually Samsung phones and other phones as well, that before they come out, months before they come out. This one is about the Galaxy S10 devices, and it's about the camera. His tweet says, Samsung is redesigning the camera night mode for the Galaxy S10 series. The option is isolated, just like the video pro independent mode. In addition, the camera algorithm has also been updated. The major update will be launched in April or May. So it looks like they're going to have an official night mode, kind of like what you get with Huawei phones and what you get with Pixel phones, where you can literally turn on night mode and it brings in so much light. There's the Pixel one I've used was amazing. It's like crazy how much light it brings in. You can be in almost a pitch dark room and it makes the person really, really light up. And I hope to God the Samsung one does the same thing. I can only imagine that they're not going to release something unless it does something very, very similar. So an official night mode that you can control is coming out, and it should be out in April or May, or at least start rolling out in April or May. And it sounds also like they're going to be improving the camera as well, just overall functionality with software, just like Google does with theirs. Google only has one camera, but their live focus photos come out amazing, and they only have one camera, whereas all these other phone manufacturers have 2 or 3. So this should be a big help in the camera department as well, even already with a great camera on the Galaxy S10. How is everyone doing? Let's get into the news. We only have one story today, kind of a slow day, and it was all about the Samsung Galaxy Tab S5e. It actually, I should have mentioned it yesterday, but they had a lot of news yesterday and it kind of slipped under the radar. And that is that you can pre-order the new Samsung Galaxy Tab S5e, and it goes for $400, or you can do a trade-in with another tablet and get it to as low as 200 and actually less than that, like 150 bucks or something like that if you trade in certain tablets, but they're kind of better than that tablet, so I don't know why you would. But regardless, you can still get this tablet for as low as 150 with a trade-in, and it's gonna be available at Samsung's website and Best Buy. I'll link it down below. But if you're thinking about getting the tablet, here's some specs on it. It's got a 10.5-inch Super AMOLED display with a 16:10 ratio. It is a 2K display, which is really nice to see. It charges fast, and you can get up to 14.5 hours of video on a full charge. Also comes with Android 9.0, 64 gigs or 128 gigs of internal storage, plus micro SD. If you get the 128, it's $480, so it's a little bit more than the $400 price tag. It does have a Snapdragon processor. I believe it's like a 670, so it's not the latest and greatest processor. And then you get dual HD cameras on the back. So again, if you want to pick that up, I will link it down below. It's ultra thin as well. That's one of the other big selling points about this tablet. It does not have a headphone jack, but it has an adapter for it. So some things missing. Also doesn't support S Pen. Unlike the Tab S4. So there's some things missing, but it does have a lower price tag, and it's newer, and it has the latest software. So it might be something you still might want to grab. We only have one story today, and it is about the Samsung Galaxy Note 10, and it comes from a tweet from Ice Universe. If you don't know Ice Universe, I say it all the time, he's a leaker, and he's almost always right with his leaks. So let's jump into his tweet, because it's short. It says, Note 10 Pro. Does not give us any other information, so don't shoot the messenger there. Note 10 Pro looks like it's going to be the name for the new Galaxy Note 10, at least the version that is the best. There is supposed to be 2 versions of the phone, possibly up to 4 if you count the LTE versions and the 5G versions. There should be one with a smaller screen and then one with a larger screen. The Note 10 Pro, if you think about it, it's probably going to be very, very, very similar to what you get with the Galaxy S10 5G, which ends up having like a 6.7-inch display, a lot of RAM, a lot of storage, just something like that. So what my guess, because this is purely guess, we don't really have a lot of information yet, is that the Note 10, all lines of it will have the Snapdragon 855 or the Exynos 9820. For RAM, I'm thinking that the Note 10 Pro is probably going to have at least 8 gigabytes of RAM, but I really think it's going to have 12 gigabytes of RAM at that point. Storage, it'll probably have 512 or 1 terabyte of storage. And then other than that, 4 cameras on the back, 2 on the front. If they even do that, they could do the little swivel rotating sliding camera that they have on one of their lower mid-tier phones that we just talked about, the A80. So there's a lot of things that we don't know about the phone, but you can expect performance, specs, overall look of it to be fantastic, to be very, very interesting. It's definitely going to be spec'd out. Last year's version had 8 gigabytes of RAM, at least the top end version had 8 gigabytes of RAM and 512 gigabytes of storage. And you would think they'd improve on that. And obviously, why not improve with 12 gigabytes of RAM and either 512 or 1 terabyte of storage on the phone? So at that point, which one are you most interested in? The regular Note 10 or the Note 10 Pro? Obviously, thinking about price. Price is going to be a huge factor with this phone. It's going to be, I would assume, a very expensive phone. Maybe they'll be able to budget it in a little bit cheaper because it's a little bit later in the year and the technology has gotten a little bit cheaper. But let me know your comments and thoughts down below. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you down the road. Peace!